Going live on Rika. I ain't had no business doing all that. My page been blocked, so that's why I'm going live. Yes, I know I was wrong. I ain't have no business going off like that, but...
See right there. See right there. Everybody want to be famous. I'm going to make you famous.
Yes.
What?
I am sorry, y'all. This Nunu, I'm blocked off my page. So I had to go out live on Monster Phone. I ain't had no intentions of going live like that. I apologize to everybody. Yes.
What?
No, Yes, that's her. Let me see the phone, son.
No.
Yes. Yes, Aunt Lola. Yes. Yeah, Rika. Yeah, she on the phone. Yeah.
You think I'm worried about the police right now? Huh? You think I'm worried about the police right now?
No.
I tell you, I don't give a about no police, you heard?
Mm-hmm.
Bitch, we'll pull up right now. Pull up.
Okay.
Pull up. Pull up.
Uh-huh. No, it was just, I apologize.
What's up?
Because I couldn't go live.
April 12th, 2018. A typical Thursday in Shreveport, Louisiana. Rannita Williams, known to friends and family as Nunu, was a mother, a hairstylist, a fighter, and, like so many others, a user of social media to share pieces of her life. But on this day, her final Facebook Live would not be another beauty tutorial or casual check-in. This time, the world would witness her last moments. The camera rolls, the screen shakes, and behind her a shadow appears, holding a rifle. Her ex-boyfriend, Jonathan Robinson, is pacing, furious, rambling. Viewers can hear the tension, but many think it's just another online argument, until it isn't. What began as a toxic love triangle quickly devolved into a psychological hostage situation, live-streamed for thousands. Over 6 agonizing minutes, the internet bore witness to real-time terror, rage, pleading, a gunshot, and silence. But what pushed Robinson to this breaking point? How did a twisted obsession, a history of domestic abuse, and the pressure of digital humiliation ignite one of the most chilling acts of violence ever seen on social media? Tonight, we take you deep inside the mind of a killer, into the trauma of a broken relationship, and through the final day of a woman who wanted nothing more than peace and to be free from the chains of her past. This isn't just a story of murder. It's a story of red flags ignored, of cries for help, of mental torment, and the weaponization of public shame. This is the story of Rannita Nunu Williams, a woman silenced on live stream. And Jonathan Robinson, the man who made the world watch as he pulled the trigger. Brace yourself, because what you're about to hear is real, raw, and unforgettable. This is the Facebook Live execution, Rannita Williams' final moments. Rannita Williams, known affectionately to those close to her as Nunu, was a vibrant and energetic 27-year-old mother of 3 young children. Her life was filled with joy, laughter, and an infectious spirit that brought warmth to everyone around her. Friends and family often remarked on her radiant smile and her innate sense of style, which reflected her confident personality and individuality. Nunu's strong bond with her family was evident in every aspect of her life. She was regarded as the cornerstone of her household, the one who brought people together and kept them connected through love and understanding. Her family often described her as the glue that held their world intact, a role she embraced with grace and dedication. She carried with her hopes and dreams that extended far beyond her daily responsibilities. Ambition burned brightly within her, motivating her to work tirelessly for a better future for herself and her children. She was beloved in her community, known for her kindness and willingness to help those in need. Her presence was a source of inspiration for many who knew her. Despite her many strengths, like many young women, Rannita had faced challenges in her personal relationships. Love had not always been kind to her, and she made choices that, in hindsight, brought unforeseen consequences. One relationship, in particular, would cast a dark shadow over her life, one that would ultimately lead to tragic outcomes. The man she once trusted would become a source of fear and danger. The love she once shared would unravel into obsession and violence. The mistakes she made were not hers alone. They were entangled with the actions of another who could not accept loss or rejection. Nunu's story is a reminder of how complicated and fragile human connections can be. It shows how love and trust, when broken, can transform into something destructive and deadly. Her life, filled with promise and hope, was tragically cut short by a sequence of events that no one could have predicted. In understanding who Rannita was, we honor her memory and the light she brought into the lives of those around her. Her story is not just about tragedy, but about the strength, love, and resilience of a young woman who fought to hold her family together against all odds. Jonathan Robinson was far from an ordinary ex-boyfriend. His reputation on the streets was marked by a troubling history of violence and manipulation. People who knew him described him as unstable and unpredictable, a man whose temper could flare with little warning. His presence was intimidating, and many regarded him as dangerous. To Rannita, Jonathan had once been a figure of affection, someone she trusted and loved. But over time, their relationship soured, turning into a bitter and possessive bond from which he could not detach. Despite their years of on and off involvement, Jonathan was unable to accept that their relationship had truly ended. Rannita had moved forward, building a new life with someone else, seeking peace and happiness beyond Jonathan's reach. This reality was something Jonathan refused to acknowledge. His jealousy and resentment grew quietly but intensely, fueling a dark obsession that consumed him. Beneath his composed exterior, anger and frustration boiled like a pressure cooker. His inability to let go festered, turning into a dangerous fixation. Over time, this simmering rage would erupt in violent ways, leading to a terrifying climax. Jonathan Robinson's story is one of a man trapped by his own demons, unable to control his emotions or actions. His refusal to accept loss set in motion a chain of events that would forever alter the lives of those around him. The events that led to the tragedy began long before the fateful morning, unfolding in the digital world where tensions simmered and grew. Social media, especially Facebook, became the battleground where Rannita and Jonathan exchanged sharp words, public arguments, and heated live videos. These petty conflicts escalated, each insult and accusation fueling the fire. Jonathan, who was watching from Houston, felt his anger deepen with every post. He believed Rannita was humiliating him in front of others, taunting him with her new relationship. The jealousy that consumed him was relentless and unforgiving. Unable to contain his fury, Jonathan made a decision that would change everything. He packed a gun and drove hundreds of miles to Shreveport. His mission was clear, driven by rage and a need to assert control over a situation slipping from his grasp. On the morning of April 12, 2018, Jonathan arrived unannounced at Rannita's home. Inside, her family gathered, unaware of the danger approaching. Her children were present, surrounded by the safety of their home, but Jonathan's presence shattered that illusion. He entered with a purpose, armed and resolute, prepared to force the outcome he desired regardless of the consequences. That morning, what began as digital animosity transformed into a violent reality, setting the stage for a horrific confrontation. At approximately 10:30 a.m. on April 12, 2018, Rannita Nunu Williams found herself trapped in a nightmare that would be broadcast live to the world. Jonathan Robinson, her ex-boyfriend, forced her to go live on Facebook using her own phone. Standing behind her, he held an SKS rifle, a military-grade weapon known for its power and lethality. The atmosphere in the small Shreveport home was suffocating, filled with fear and dread. When the live stream began, Rannita appeared nervous and visibly shaken. Her voice trembled as she spoke, carefully reciting the words Robinson forced her to say.
Going live on Rika. I ain't had no business doing all that. My page been blocked, so that's why I'm going live. Yes, I know I was wrong. I ain't have no business going off like that, but...
See right there. See right there. Everybody wants to be famous. I'm going to make you famous.
Yes.
What?
I am sorry, y'all.
Each sentence was filled with forced apology and submission, a desperate attempt to pacify the man controlling her fate. Behind her, Robinson's voice remained eerily calm, in sharp contrast to the terror visible in her eyes. He spoke quietly but firmly, commanding her to continue and delivering his own chilling commentary. The viewers who had tuned in gradually realized this was not an ordinary live stream. Comments flooded in, pleading with Rannita to escape, begging someone to intervene. Friends and strangers alike sent messages begging for help. Some understood the danger immediately and called 911. But for Rannita, the situation was spiraling rapidly out of control. Suddenly, without warning, Robinson raised the rifle. The first gunshot rang out, sharp and brutal. The phone camera shook violently as multiple shots were fired. The sounds echoed through the room and into the phones of everyone watching. Rannita screamed, a raw, desperate sound of pain and terror that shattered the fragile silence. In the comments, viewers expressed horror and disbelief. Screams, warnings, and prayers filled the chat. Family members who had been nearby fled in panic, fearing for their own lives. The scene was chaotic, a deadly assault unfolding live before an audience that could do nothing but watch. Rannita collapsed to the floor, blood pooling beneath her. Despite her injuries, the horror was not over. Robinson continued to menace the scene, firing more rounds into the air and at the walls. His rage was unchecked. He shouted threats and insults, his voice cold and unyielding. The standoff had become a violent spectacle. Outside the house, neighbors dialed emergency services, their voices trembling as they relayed the nightmare unfolding next door. Police officers rushed to the scene, arriving in force. But Robinson barricaded himself inside, turning the home into a fortress. He fired shots toward the responding officers, escalating the danger further. Inside, the scene was grim. The small living room was scarred with bullet holes, shattered glass, and bloodstains. Rannita lay motionless, her life extinguished by gunfire. The live stream had captured the full, brutal reality, a modern tragedy played out on a digital stage. For those watching, it was a moment of helpless horror. The Facebook Live broadcast was a chilling reminder of how violence and technology intersect in the darkest ways. What began as a desperate attempt at control ended in senseless death, witnessed by thousands in real time. This live stream would become critical evidence in the investigation that followed. It revealed not only the crime itself, but the twisted mindset of the killer. It showed the world the devastating consequences of obsession, jealousy, and unchecked violence. Rannita Williams was a mother, a daughter, a sister, and a friend. Her life was stolen in a way that left a permanent scar on her community and on the digital world. The Facebook Live nightmare was over, but the echoes of that day would resonate for years to come. The police arrived on the scene within minutes of the emergency call, responding quickly to reports of gunfire and a hostage situation. Jonathan Robinson, refusing to surrender, immediately opened fire on the officers as they approached the house. His intent was clear. This was not an attempt to flee, but rather a deadly standoff. He unleashed more than 20 rounds from his rifle, firing relentlessly at the law enforcement officers. The police took cover behind their vehicles and nearby structures, carefully coordinating their response to avoid further casualties. The tense exchange of gunfire echoed through the neighborhood as officers worked to contain the situation. Inside the home, Robinson moved restlessly, his mind racing. At one point, he was heard speaking on the phone, delivering chilling goodbyes to those on the other end. His actions revealed a man resigned to his fate, driven by despair and anger. As the ammunition supply dwindled, Robinson's resistance weakened. Eventually, he surrendered to the SWAT team, stepping out with his hands raised. The officers quickly secured the area and entered the house. What they found inside was a scene of unimaginable horror. Blood stained the floors and walls, and spent shell casings littered the rooms. Most devastating of all, Rannita Williams lay lifeless, the victim of a senseless act of violence. The grim reality of that day was undeniable. During the police interrogation, Jonathan Robinson confessed to everything without hesitation. He revealed that he had long harbored a desire to be great, and that Rannita Williams stood in the way of his ambitions. He admitted that the murder was premeditated and carefully planned on the morning of April 12, 2018. Robinson detailed how he purchased ammunition earlier that day, retrieved his rifle, and mentally prepared himself for the violent act ahead. Before leaving, he said goodbye to those close to him, as if he knew the consequences that awaited. His confession showed a cold calculation, driven by a toxic mix of wounded pride and revenge. He explained that the shooting at the police was intentional, hoping to provoke a deadly response. He sought what is often called suicide by cop, willing to end his own life through confrontation with law enforcement. However, Robinson survived the shootout. Despite his survival, he showed no remorse. Instead, he told detectives to charge him with first-degree murder, openly admitting that the crime was deliberate and fully planned. His words left no doubt about the chilling resolve behind his actions. Rannita's family was left devastated by the tragic loss of a vibrant woman whose life was cut short in such a brutal way. Her mother and brother, both survivors of that horrifying day, spoke openly about the overwhelming trauma they endured. The pain of losing someone so full of life, so beloved, was a wound that would take years to heal. Their grief was profound, yet amidst the heartbreak, they found strength in their memories of Rannita's warmth and love. The legal process that followed was long and painful. Initially, Jonathan Robinson faced the death penalty for his actions. However, in 2019, a plea deal was reached. Robinson pled guilty to first-degree murder, accepting a life sentence without the possibility of parole. This resolution brought a measure of closure to the family, ending the uncertainty of a drawn-out trial. Rannita's mother publicly supported the plea agreement, expressing a deep and painful truth. "Killing Jonathan won't bring my daughter back, but at least now we can begin to heal." Her words reflected a profound acceptance that justice, while essential, could never replace the love and life that was lost. The family's journey towards healing had begun, but the scars of that day would remain forever. Rannita Nunu Williams's tragic death sent shockwaves across the nation. Her story sparked important conversations about the realities of domestic violence and the devastating impact of mental illness when left unaddressed. It exposed how toxic relationships can spiral out of control, ending in heartbreaking tragedy. This story is far more than a crime. It is a powerful warning. It reminds us all to take threats seriously, to listen closely, and to never ignore the signs of an abusive partner. Nunu was never just a name on a screen or a face on a live stream. She was a devoted mother, a loving sister, and a woman who cared deeply for those around her. Her life mattered, and she deserved so much more than the violent fate she met. Her legacy lives on in the hearts of those who knew her, and in the urgent need to protect others from suffering similar fates. We remember her not only for how she died, but for who she was, a vibrant, beautiful soul taken too soon. If this story moved you, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing. Your support helps us tell more stories that need to be heard. Together, we can shine a light on the darkness and bring awareness to these critical issues.